Python on hardware. There is so much going on. Our newsletter is almost up to 5,000 people, which is our fastest growing newsletter, and it's called Python and Microcontrollers. You can sign up on adafruitdaily.com. This is high praise. This is from Carlos. Carlos used to do the microbit newsletter, and this was tweeted as, I cannot emphasize how good this newsletter is. Definitely sign up if you like Python and microcontrollers.
And we've covered microbit too. It's not just CircuitPython.
We cover everything.
We cover everything, including Python in general.
In fact,
sometimes.
we're about to do that now. So if you want to keep up with the developments of CircuitPython 4, you can check out our newsletter, check out our site, check out all those places. We had a milestone that we hit. Thank you so much, everybody.
Stars.
We hit 1,000 stars on GitHub. So github.com/Adafruit/CircuitPython. It just shows that a lot of people are using it, and we appreciate that you all did that. Scott did a deep dive, and this was a very long video about
memory
issues,
learning how to debug stuff. And it's like, if you're like, I want to go deep into the depths of internals of CircuitPython, you want to debug it and how to do it, follow along.
Yep.
It does take a little bit of practice, but this will at least get you that first run. You'll have Scott there by your side virtually.
Right. We have some projects that we did this week. I'm going to go over some of these. This is the Lucky Cat, and then there was
then we added the Lucky Pig. Lucky Pig.
Yeah. This is the BLE light switch with Feather NRF 52840 using Cricket and CircuitPython. You can see it in action.
What I like about that one is it's a remote control switch, but it's great for accessibility where it's like you don't want to modify an existing light switch.
Right.
You just pop it on top.
Then EduBlocks, there's an entire guide we released on EduBlocks. If you're familiar with block-based programming and you want to do Python, this is a way to do it. We have some Adafruit IO updates specifically related to Python. So do check that out. I'll go over some of this stuff in our IO
more
section.
MQTT stuff. We're adding some projects, and we're like, hey, we can use some more MQTT support. So we've added that as well.
We also renamed the library for Adafruit IO to name to reflect the naming scheme of our other one. So it's Adafruit IO Python.
Yep.
Okay.
Rather than client.
That's right.
It's always client.
In Method Magazine, there's an entire section devoted to embedded hardware development with MicroPython and CircuitPython. And Lady Ada was interviewed. Check it out. There's a link on the newsletter to download this. This is the second or third big industry magazine that noticed that Python on hardware is coming along. If you watch Mythbusters, there's a box of Adafruit stuff in the background. Someone screenshot it and sent it to us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We sent them a whole bunch of stuff.
Yep. Raspberry Pi opened up a store in the UK, and of course there's Adafruit stuff there. So if you want to pick up some CircuitPython, some Python on hardware, some stuff to run our Linuxy Blinka on Raspberry Pi, you can go there and you can see a lot of our stuff. We were told that one of the first things sold there was Gusta Green LED for the store. Sophie has a really cool project. This is a helmet that is powered by CircuitPython.
It's got an itsy bitsy M0 and it actually showed up on the show and tell. It's got these. It's a modified helmet to turn into a cosplay sci-fi prop. It looks great.
That's right. Then some kids here that Kathy posted this up. This is from the Albany Medical College STEP program, presenting programmable pals. The kids made things for other kids, and so this is using some Adafruit stuff and more. Caitlin's dad made some great CircuitPython themed items for Valentine's Day. I'm just going to show a little bit of it. And you're probably wondering,
why is the code BirdSynth?
Why is the code BirdSynth? Well, Lane, who owns and runs Osh Park, made a BirdSynth. So the bird's able to hit the certain parts on Circuit Playground Express using CircuitPython, and I'll let the bird take it away. we
dinosaurs are writing code now.
Gregor got the Adafruit Ether Wing working with the in development giant board.
Which is actually kind of amazing that like the WizNet 5500 just like it just worked with Linux. I mean, that's kind of impressive.
This is a custom-made hi-fi preamplifier. It's an open-source, high-end, high-fidelity preamplifier made with CircuitPython. This is from Melissa Makes. Also was on the show and tell. This is a radio-controlled car that now gets its signals and makes it a programmable RC car, and that uses Grand Central CircuitPython. Here is a little video of it in action.
Zoom.
And as expected and right on time, and one of the reasons we made CircuitPython is wouldn't it be great to be able to do cosplay, things like a Tron identity disk, and just be able to plug it in like a USB, it shows up like a USB drive, and you can quickly make changes. Well, that's what this is. It's a Tron identity disk using Feather NeoPixels and made with CircuitPython. If you want to change the code, it's instant. You just change one little bit of text.
You can save the users so easily now.
Yeah, you can now save the users.
Or fight for the users. I don't know my Tron codes.
This is a no-point IR camera. This is made with CircuitPython. It's an IR camera that you have to see the whole project for an IR camera. When would you use it? How does it make sense?
Because it uses a AMG 8833, and we also have a library for that sensor.
Yeah. Also, this was a neat pull request. There's an upcoming CircuitPython device made by Texas Instruments. This is going to go with their TI calculator. So this is a pull request to update some of the math stuff. So it kind of just works out of the box even better.
Yeah, very interesting. We'll get one of those TI Python adapters when they're available.
That's right. Yeah, so that might end up being the million of these calculators. It'll be kind of cool to see it out there. Next up, SparkFun has a new tutorial. This is the latest guide that SparkFun's doing. They're using CircuitPython now, and this is to make a. It's called Lord of the Ring Lights, and this is a CircuitPython powered LED ring light. And Rob did that one. There was FOSDEM, the conference, and Deshipu. Radomir did a great talk about game development, and this one just happened to be with some CircuitPython. And you could see some of this stuff on Tindy as well as Hackaday.io, and we also linked to the presentation, really cool presentation, being a full-stack game developer. This was some photos of the booth from FOSDEM that micropython did. I like that they have women's shirts first. We made a rule here at Adafruit too, like we have shirts in our store, which we've had in the past, like Transistor Man.
And make sure they're in women's sizes.
Make sure they're in women's sizes first. You can have all sizes, but
not just like the boxy, you know, Hanes. You have to get like the nice tailored shirts.
There's a couple sites that have some previews of the new MicroPython D-Series board. Check that out. We have some news around the web. This is if you want to learn MicroPython with GPIOs. We have some GitHub links. This is a really cool GUI library that runs on almost any platform. This is a really neat terminal-based, all computer memory usage, CPU usage that you can run. Xerath. They've been doing Python on hardware for a while, and they caught my attention again because there's all sorts of ways you can do Python on hardware. This is yet another one.
They're doing a different way. It's not the same
as
like
a middleware. It's not like on the device in the same way, but do check this out.
It's mixed, it's compiled, and you burn the whole thing on. It's still
They also
different.
accurately predict Python will be the number one way a lot of hardware is done. We think so too. Scott has been going around with this super secret beta of the PyPortal, and this is an old style IBM keyboard that can directly plug into a PyPortal. So that's Python on there and a keyboard.
Model M, actually.
Yeah, we've been doing some projects. This is some PyPortal projects. This is a secondary display. This was from our quote service on Adafruit. I'm going to show some videos later on, but I just wanted to show some of this in our Python section. This is a little tiny mini keyboard. This terminal head. We have some Python on e-ink. Latest news from our libraries, all 130 plus. All of our cool Blinka stuff on Linux. On let's see, it's on, let me find the right date. Brent in New York City, Brent from Adafruit, is presenting, and he'll be presenting it February 19th at the New York Meetup, and this is for CircuitPython. So it's a New York firmware meetup, which is cool because New York has firmware meetups.
That's neat.
PyCascades is coming up February 23rd, 24th. I believe Scott will be there, and also Nina. And there'll be talks about CircuitPython and more. CircuitPython on hardware. PyCon will be there. Well, some of our team will be there May 1st through 9th, and expect to see and hear a lot about CircuitPython there. And then we also have one more event. This is February 23rd. This is in Rhode Island, Intro to Python. Adafruit CircuitPython talk will be presented.
Yay!
There. We have the weekly that we do in Discord is now a podcast, so you can just listen to the audio. All the links for that.
It's on Spotify.
It's on Spotify. It's on iTunes. It's on Pocket Casts. We have the CircuitPython weekly meeting at iTunes, and we have this video podcast that goes on IGTV, iTunes, and more. All of this is in our updated awesome CircuitPython list on GitHub. We're doing our translations. You have another week or so to get them in for CircuitPython beta.
Please do that, because we would like to wrap up 4.0. A lot of our issues are on translation. So if you know a language, and especially if we already have a translation for it, we have a couple strings that need updating. That's where you can help out. You don't have to do a full translation. It's like maybe 10, 20 strings to translate, and that will help keep the translations up to date for 4.0 release.
If you have any questions about all this stuff, join us in Discord in the CircuitPython chat. If you missed anything here, don't worry, we have a recap and more. And this is the Adafruit Daily newsletter that goes out every single week, adafruitdaily.com. We have a whole separate site. We never want to spam anyone. We don't even want to be accused of that, so we have it separate. And you sign up.
You have to sign up, and it's hard, and it's like you to click a link.
About 5,000 people, so this is one of our fastest growing newsletters. It just means the interest in Python and Python on hardware is, if you look at our GitHub stuff, it's hockey stick, as they say in the biz.
Yep.
That's Python on hardware news. A lot this week.
A lot happened. Every week there's a lot.